So we're gonna do kind of a short flight. I want to try another Airbus A320, but this time with the ANA livery. One thing I did want to show before I start. I have live weather turned on, but this is slightly off. So sadly, this is Typhoon Haishin. And I actually just looked at the radar when I recorded this. So just to put it in perspective, it's about 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So this is about, I want to say they're 13 hours here this time of year. So it's about, let's say it's between 7:30 and 8:30 a.m. And according to the recent radars, just looking at the different ones, this tropical storm is actually more in Busan right now. It shows a way up north. I'm assuming this is it because I was watching this earlier, like it was over here, and then sadly it went right through here. So it basically really hit southwestern Japan pretty hard. Now it's going through Korea. This is South Korea's second typhoon, like in a week. And if you include North Korea, because it's going to move north into North Korea, but it should be pretty weakened by then, I think. That would be their third typhoon in like a month. So yeah, it's been a very active season, especially in the this part of the Pacific. I mean, there's always typhoons, but sadly it has a tendency to hit more like the warmer areas, like Taiwan, sadly the Philippines and so forth. But it's really been turning pretty far north, and it's been staying strong. Like it was about a category, I think they said it hit as a category 4 when it hit Japan. So basically equivalent to a category 4 hurricane. Hopefully it won't be too bad, especially I'm not too so it did skip most of Okinawa, at least this part. It probably hit more of this. But I know you have I think it's Fukuoka's over here. I know Hiroshima somewhere over here. Yeah, it's Hiroshima, so probably dodged that, but no. But there's still quite decent sized cities. Yeah, here it is, Fukuoka. I mean, that's a major city right there. So it was right in the direct path. And now it's right in the direct path with the eye going over Busan, another major city. So hopefully, all I can say is when we start seeing images come out, hopefully it won't be too bad and the destruction is very minimal. But anyway, kind of moving. I just want to kind of show that because it is live weather, and people that are following the news, sadly it's been a very active typhoon season in the Pacific right now. But we're going to do kind of just short flight. As I mentioned, I'm going to use the Airbus 320. I'm using the ANA livery. I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to start from a gate. So I pulled up a map, and it showed ANA's gates around here, or some of them. I don't know if it's just for international flights, because I remember I connected at Narita to go to Osaka, Kansai, and ours was like, it was like we're in the terminal, domestic terminal, the little domestic terminal they got, but it was on the tarmac where we board. I'm gonna use a gate. I'm gonna see how this works. I'm gonna try to use the ATC options and all that. I don't know if the plane would be turned on yet or not, and I'm not entirely sure how to do that, so I may turn the autopilot on just for that part, and then try to do takeoff and everything else. And then put in cruise control, and we'll go to Sendai. So we're just gonna kind of hug the east coast of Japan. Not a long flight, so let's see how this goes. I am gonna do a video. I kind of want to keep live weather on more times than that, but I want to do a live video. I've been to Tokyo, and I really love it. It's one of my favorite cities I've been to. It's been about 3 years. I was supposed to be back this year for the Olympics. That didn't happen. I'm already in the process of rebooking everything for next year. Hotel set, flight over set, flight return not set. Since I'm doing by miles, so I'm just kind of waiting for some good flights to open up soon for that. But anyway, so when I flew over, I flew from Chicago to Narita, and we connected Narita to Osaka. Now, it was interesting. Narita, it's like there's two major airports in Tokyo, and I may save this more for the history, but long story short, Hanada's the airport closer, and that used to be just the domestic airport for a long time. Like it was the international airport post World War II, but then in the 70s they opened Narita because Tokyo kept growing and their economy exploded, so it became a huge gateway to Asia from America, with Northwest and Pan Am. So they basically made Narita like their international airport, not a domestic airport. Now Hanada is actually very heavily international as well. It flies to the U.S. and Europe going in there, but Narita still serves a huge purpose. And even though I mentioned I took a domestic flight, almost all most of the domestic flights out of Narita are really mostly for connecting purposes coming from overseas, because it's very interesting. You look at both airports and routes, they actually both of them share quite a few of the same routes. They kind of split up depending on the time of day, because Hanada's got a lot more limitations when they do certain routes, just because of the potential airplane noise and just the congestion of central Tokyo as well, and the amount of flights. Because between the two the busiest airport in China is Beijing now, or not in China, so in Asia is in China, Beijing, I believe. However, if you want to do, let's say if you combine a metro area as airports, then I'm pretty sure Tokyo leads pretty far. Like it's ANA and Air Japan are massive, and then you add in, all the other major airlines will fly to at least one of those airports. Sometimes both. United goes to both. Depends on the route. Like I think Denver only goes to Narita, but Chicago goes to Hanada. LA goes to both, I think, as an example. San Francisco may go to both. So, and then A&E would do both as well. They fly to Chicago, but they can also take you to Hanada and Narita. Okay, so one thing is interesting. They don't have the gate on here, so it's acting like I just have to be pulled out. So we'll see how this looks. I've been wanting to try this out. This is kind of just like a experiment, especially now I got all these real liveries, so it just looks so cool seeing so it is turned off. And the radio's turned off. Now I remember, so I may have to do this. Yeah, because I know you're supposed to do stuff up here. Oh, well, let's see how this looks. You typed everything in. Yeah, I was like looking at this. It's really cool. Like you can literally control ATC com. Oh, you can do it on here. Here's your monitors. All right. Okay, I just have to do that. Alright, I'm gonna go and depart north.
Narita ground, Airbus with mic request taxi for takeoff north departure. Airbus taxi to and hold short of runway 16 right by taxiway Tango Tango 4 Sierra Sierra 2 Tango Romeo Whiskey 8 Whiskey Whiskey 4 Alpha Alpha 1. Contact tower on 118.35 when ready. Taxi to and hold short runway 16 right by taxiway Tango Tango 4 Sierra 2 Tango
Oh,
Whiskey
Iberia.
Whiskey,
Oh, that
Whiskey,
makes no
4
sense. That's
Alpha
Spain.
Alpha 1 Airbus.
That size plane would not make it out of here. Alright, yeah. Let's see if we can... Yeah, here it is. I can see this.
Narita ground, Airbus requesting pushback. Airbus pushback request accepted.
I know they can do this. This is just cool. Look at this. I know this is just really just nerdy geeking out, but just thought it'd be fun to try this. And this is how their planes look. It's great. Now, what's really confusing, if you look online, they have like ANA and ANA wings. Wings is kind of like the smaller domestic subsidiary. Actually, I may have connected ANA wings when I transferred. But yeah, you look at their planes and stuff. There's no the designs are exactly the same. Oh, it's working. Oh, that's so cool. I was letting them do the pushback. Let's see, steer.
Narita ground, Airbus requesting pushback tuck to steer the aircraft to the right. Airbus, your request has been transmitted to the operator.
I wonder if I butchered that. It's okay. There's plenty of paths here.
Narita ground, Airbus requesting pushback.
That's kind of neat.
Push the aircraft straight. Airbus, your request has been transmitted to the operator.
I thought it would go a little faster because it doesn't seem to go this slow in real life. Oh, I know why. Ha! Had the parking brake on. I was like... Yeah, once he pushes me past the food cart, we'll switch. I'll tell him to push to the right. Wow, that's just wild. I can't believe they even add these little details in. I mean, that's just great. That's just cool.
Narrate to ground, Airbus requesting pushback to steer the aircraft to the right. Airbus, your request has been transmitted to the operator.
The bus. You just killed everyone.
Narrate to ground, Airbus requesting the end of pushback. Airbus request to end pushback received.
All right. Very cool. Oh, sorry, turn that off. Yeah, sorry, I don't know how to turn the plane yet. I actually started looking at God, and it was like a 20-minute. I mean, it was. I actually don't know what's actually if it would have been exactly the same for me, because he actually even got the gate over. You know, like the taxiway. Yeah, the taxiway over. But it was interesting. You had to turn stuff on, begin up here, and you even had to type in the route into the computer. Which looks like it's already in. Alright, stop the plane because this American Airlines plane is apparently a propeller plane. Yeah, so this is American Airlines. AAL, that's their tail sign. For American Airlines to be here, they flew overseas, and that is way off. Pretty wild though. That means you just landed here in real life, so which makes sense. A lot of planes will land. It depends when you take off. Their goal is trying to get you. At like certain times of the days, So when I flew out of Chicago, I flew around like around 11:30 noon and arrived about 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Well, anyway, one time I was going to book a route, do the miles before everything got canceled. I was going to fly to Frankfurt, and you fly to Frankfurt around noon, then you arrive at Tokyo around like 9 a.m. So it's just kind of interesting how they always plan these routes and the times and everything, especially for international, with all the time zones and stuff. Oh, wait a minute, where's my Yeah.
Narrate to ground, Airbus with Mike request taxi for takeoff north departure. Airbus taxi to and hold short of runway 16 right via taxiway Romeo Whiskey 8 Whiskey Whiskey 4 Alpha Alpha 1. Contact tower on 118.35 when ready. Taxiing hold short runway 16 right using taxiway Romeo Whiskey 8 Whiskey Whiskey 4 Alpha Alpha.
I can't tell if it's going to take me north or not, but we'll find out. Alright, so we switch to this. I'm trying to do a nice little mix of both because I just love looking at the plane and hearing it from the outside as well. Ooh, better slow that down. probably slow that down. So cool. I guess when I say north, you take off from the north and go south. That really wasn't the idea. The goal is to go north. Oh well. It's not the first time. I've seen that with other routes. Like fly to St. Fly to St. Louis, Chicago, and it's like, all right, you're gonna go west, then go north. It's like, what? It's like, why can't we just go east? I know there's reasons why with the air patterns and everything. It's just sometimes it's kind of funny. Or like Chicago, when I arrive in, there's runways on the east and west, so I can come in from the west. Instead, they'll fly me out east, over a lake, then come back in and do that type of approach. Let's see if we can get this. So cool. Alright, let's try.
Narita Tower Airbus ready at runway 16 right north departure. Airbus cleared for takeoff runway 16 right.
Alright, let's do it. For some reason it was drifting backwards, but we're good to go now.
Cleared for takeoff runway 16 right Airbus.
We'll do this from the cockpit, why not? Just for fun. Alright, I think we're good. Ah, it's so cool. Yeah, so this part's been zooming quite long, so I do have live weather too. Now let me double check. Yeah. Yeah, Naruto is pretty far east. Like, I mean, this is the Pacific Ocean. Yeah, this is it. One thing that's cool when you do it, I know when you control it, you can probably set the cruising altitude. I don't know what the default cruising altitude is. I feel like I can never... I've even gone like over 10,000 feet or like 15,000 feet and it still wasn't like there. Wait a minute. Still not on track. Yeah, we're at a nice cruising altitude. Look at that. That's beautiful. Well, I just scared everyone in the plane. I've flown ANA. Very good airline, by the way. Highly recommend it. Long haul and short haul. So, in the short haul, you know, obviously it's in the snack cart, but you know, good coffee, good tea, decent cookies. That's interesting. So with the flaps, it really changes the engine power. Like this is almost like cruising altitude here. All right. No, it's still not technically on track. Fortunately, so I am using live weather, so it's not maybe doing the full flight, but it's pretty cloudy, or partly cloudy, so it's like, you know, times is good. Like here you guys see more golf courses. But then like over there, you know, you can't see much. Obviously can't see much east. Alright, let's do our descent. No, let's do our approach. Try 4 at a time. I'm also still trying to get better at landing this as well. I did thought about maybe leaving this in real time, but it needed to be kind of more clear. Granted, I can edit that. I just kind of prefer doing live weather, just kind of, you know, that way even like, let's say it's sunny but windy, and just kind of make it a little more interesting. Like, here you go. This looks more cloudy up here. Oh, good. It's just one arrow. I do have lane assist turned on. I know that really helps. One time I turned on, it's like a guide how you should land. It's pretty fascinating. It's like, you know, it really shows you how, and you kind of slowly decrease. It's amazing how slow the speeds need to be. Now this is interesting.
Sendai Tower Airbus is unfamiliar with the area. Request directions to the airport. Airbus Airport is 8 o'clock.
There's a couple planes here, but they're not.
Airbus cleared to land runway 27. Wind 187 at 27. Cleared to land runway 27 Airbus.
Alright, that looks right. We're going to just tag over. I'm decreasing too fast, I feel like. I see, so the assistance is messing with the flaps. not turning fast enough.
1,000.
Oh boy. Damn, it did not turn well. Almost like you need to really get out there.
500.
Well, I'm just scaring everyone
400.
here. This is not gonna go well. I can just...
300.
Oh, no.
400. 300. 200. 100. 650. 40. 30. 20.
Just... Alright,
100. 650. 40. 20. Reset.
Airbus contact ground on 121.7.
Oh, I can't believe this. This went so horribly wrong.
121.7 for Airbus.
Look at this. I'm driving all over the place. I'm leaving this in. This is kind of funny. This makes no sense. Alright, just give me a gate.
Sendai ground, Airbus request taxi to the gate. Airbus taxi to gate 0 via taxiway cross runway 27 Alpha.
I can't believe that didn't
Taxiing to gate
end the
0
game.
using taxiway cross runway 27 Alpha Airbus.
This is my biggest flaw with this plane so far. Or, not flaw. My biggest flaw trying to try this plane. I really struggle with the turns. It's much longer and wider than, let's say, any of these smaller propeller jets. And it makes sense. I mean, look at this plane. You know, much bigger. But man, it's been really throwing me off. So I just got to get better at it. Need to give myself a lot more time and get out there. You almost go a few miles out, then come back. I still can't believe that didn't end like that. That was horrible. I look at now I'm driving over signage and stuff. Thankfully it's a lot pretty forgiving. I didn't even land on the runway. I landed on the parking gate. Somehow I dodged most of the planes. Alright. Let's see. This plane looks real over here. Oh, come on. And apparently Aer Lingus made it over. Oh, oops. Up. We'll do some cool before I end this video. Once I get to my spot. Engine up here. Is that really not where I need to be? Alright. Alright, we're closer. Okay, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Control Shift E. And then we can do this. So we can actually... Yeah, look, we can do, we can get...
Sendai ground, Airbus, could you please send the catering truck?
Yeah, we can get a food truck.
Airbus, the catering truck is on the road.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. That is so cool. Oh, I turned the radio off. Oh, look, it's actually done. I can't believe this actually worked. Yeah, it was just 8 minutes. I didn't want to make it too long. I've done 14 hours. I mostly done day. Obviously, it's a little easier. That should not really count as a landing, to be honest. But oh well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the funny landing.